Welcome to today's video. I'm the Hooded Lid, and today we're going to look at a new product, and that is Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation. When this first came out, I automatically thought, nope. A little bit about me. I am older. I'm mature. My skin isn't dry per se, but it certainly isn't oily, so I consider it slowing down skin. I produce less ceramides, less oil, less collagen, less elastin, less omega fatty acids, less all of it, hyaluronic acid. You know, powder foundation is something I've always thought of as drying. I once was out of town, and sometimes when I'm out of town, I shop to, I don't know, appease some kind of homesickness, and I bought the Bare Minerals, the loose, and it made my skin itch. It was fine for a couple of hours, and then I remember when I went home, I'm like, ow. Well, home, to the hotel. So I had no intention of buying this. I know if I owned a company, I would be thinking about my personal experience first. How could you not? When she first came out with her line, she came out with a foundation that was for oily people. Now, she soon came out with, well, not that soon, with the Hydrating Pro Filter, which I kind of like. I guess my point is you will eventually make it there to people who have different skin than you, especially as a business owner. Why just look at one group, oily girls? Why not look at non-oily girls or even dry girls? But this, to me, kind of said, yeah, powder foundation to me is a no. And then I saw Jamie. And when I saw Jamie Page do this, I thought, okay, I have to give it a try because Jamie Page has dry skin. Now I'm going to do a 2-day wear test because I did my microneedling a couple of days ago. And before that, I had 2 days very close to each other of Retin A, and I find I start to peel just like around here 3 days after it. So I did Retin A with just 1 day buffer between them. So there's peeling, there's the damage from the microneedling, it's dry out, I haven't been drinking enough water. I feel like this is the perfect condition for trying this out on dry skin. I put on my moisturizers and let those sink in for at least 15 minutes. It's probably been 20 minutes or more. And let's get into it. Let me tell you what they say about it. My notes. They say it is medium to light coverage. They say light as air, powder foundation gives light to full coverage with soft matte finish. Now, the kind of finish you get on this depends on how you apply it. You can apply it with a kabuki brush, which would be a medium coverage, with a powder brush, and you would get very, very light coverage, or with the sponge that comes in here. So this is what it looks like, and I think it's awfully pretty. Let's see if we can do this without the mirror. This is what it looks like. There's embossing here, and then you lift up this, and there's another mirror, and here's the sponge. It's weird that there are 2 mirrors in here. It feels heavy and substantial, but they're not different as far as I can tell. Oh yeah, this second one is more magnified, but it's a little warped. So I could do without it if it's going to be warped. And I am looking a little red because of the microneedling, and you know, the skin's a little sensitive, so when I put vitamin C on, it gets a little red. It'll get a little red for a couple of days, but it's a lot better than it looked the day after I did it. So we're looking for full coverage as a result. I'm going to take this little puppy out. I did try it on my hand last night. I think I got the wrong color. So the color I got is 185, which is light, medium, neutral. Let's go in. I'm going to take this and just kind of sweep it over and get as much as I can, and we'll see. This might be too light, it might not, because it is winter, and my nose is running, so a runny nose will impede your work here. Oh, she stretched it on like that. Already I'm seeing this dry, this area right here. But I'm going to do another test in 3 or 4 days when my skin is more normal. but I just feel like I have to keep on going back into this. I do like the cut of this actually. For instance, right here, it's really handy right around the mouth. That's nice. So it's not applying great around the lip, but that's probably because my nose is running. Same thing here. Yeah, I don't really love this. It's weird because their directions, I should have mentioned this, are moisturize with the Fenty moisturizer slash sunscreen and then put on a primer. I don't do primer. So I did my usual thing, but right here, I'm going to move in close. Right here, this is not a good look. So this is dryness I'm showing you. If you have dry skin, this kind of stuff from the microneedling and the weather and everything else, it's going to show you. Now, there's still a little bit of radiance going on. This side has, this side does not. And when I look in the mirror right over here, it feels like this is not evenly applied. And then we have the problem of, what concealer do you use if you're using a powder foundation? And we also have the problem of cream or powder for blush. So I'm going to do the other side of my face. We'll come back and we'll do blushes. We'll test cream, we'll test the powder. Okay, I got the other side of the face, and I have to show you, look at what's going on here. So first of all, my nose was running, and I didn't realize. I could feel it running, but I don't know that there was a lot. But this got wet, right? And I could see there was a problem here. But when I looked at this looks wet too. It wasn't that much. And look, the embossing is almost gone. That's how much I had to press. I also found right here, again, under the nose, I don't know if this is a matter of my skin or a matter of my sunscreen and moisturizer. And it's right here too, which could be skin, because this is where I tend to peel. And I just don't feel like this side looks the same as this side. So there's some stuff going on here. One way to resolve it, I think, is to just go over with a powder brush and try to even it up. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my Surratt brush, which is Squirrel, and it's dense, but it's very soft because I'm not looking to apply the foundation this way. I'm really just trying to even it up all over the face. This was a lot of work to apply for me, but I had a lot to cover. Well, I feel like even it up a little bit, but I still feel that it just looks horrible on the forehead. Right here, the skin is looking crepey, which means dehydrated. Same right here. Again, don't know if it's about the foundation or the dryness, but so far I would say if you have older skin that is showing signs of dehydration or is showing signs of dryness, I don't like it initially. But what was interesting about Jamie's video is she liked it much better as the day went on. So let's not come to any conclusions, and we are going to do another day. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this NARS. This is a new product. It's called Air Matte, and I'm going to use it with a brush instead. I really like this product. I haven't used it with a brush before, so let's see. And I feel like I do have a pretty good coverage with this foundation. So that was an interesting way to apply this cream. I obviously wasn't able to really get my brush too saturated, but let's try it now with the finger. This is probably a bad idea because I don't think I have a powder that is close to this color. I'm going to go into the Suq, even though, you know, maybe this color will be kind of close. And take some off my hand. I would say they both apply very nicely. So that's good. Let's try the highlighter. So I may as well put on products that I would normally put on. You know what I mean? If a foundation demands that I use other products that I don't use, what's the point? It's not bad. I do feel that this is better with a liquid foundation, that I can make it more seamless, where this side is pretty good. The edges I have been able to blend out. This side not so much, and there's weird texture going on this side. So keep on working. All right, I'm going to go in with my usual, what I've been doing lately by Terry. And I use two colors. One is closer to my skin color, although this foundation is so light, I should probably not do that. So let me go in with this lighter one. Let there be light. And then just blend in with the finger. Look up to make that area a little more taut and just up and down. Ooh, that's not good looking. So I can't say if this looks bad because of the powder or if it looks bad because I do microneedle under my eyes. All right, you guys, so I'm going to come back in several hours. We'll see what is going on. I know that the blush looks really, really strange. Let's take some powder with this brush and kind of tone this down because I think it looks a little weird. And the highlighter's still going. And yeah, I think the blush is looking a little bit better. And I'll be back in a couple of hours. All right, you guys, it is like a week and a half or 2 weeks later. I don't even remember when I shot this. I did come back several hours later, but the light, it looks so bad that I decided I'm going to come in and tell you what my experience was. I wasn't able to get good images anyway. I tried to zoom in and get some screenshots. Overall, from a distance, I thought that it looked pretty. However, when I was looking in something that was more magnified than my beloved and imperfect blue mirror, it was a hot mess. Something I didn't notice when I was doing the application is it actually missed skin right here. But it wasn't like an even, here's skin and then here's a nice wash of color. It was kind of mist and then chunky where it starts, right in between this cheek area and the nose. The areas where it was gathering and bunching up on the dryness, that did not abate. It didn't, with time kind of mellow out. The unevenness I was getting right here, that didn't change either. The foundation looked very, very similar to how it looked when I first put it on, so it wears well. But at full coverage, if you are dry, if you are dehydrated, if you have flaking at all, it's no good. It accentuates any kind of dehydration and it bunches up and accentuates anything that is peeling or flaking. So that's what I'm saying about the full coverage. Not that it didn't look pretty, not that the color wasn't great, because the undertone was truly neutral. It was problematic. And I don't think it was the products that I put on beforehand, because they do say you should be using this sunscreen moisturizer and then put on a primer. So they're saying put a lot on, and yet it wasn't looking so hot, so I don't think it had anything to do with the products I put down underneath. Now let's go to the second day, which is about 4 days later when my skin is recovered from the microneedling. All right, it is Friday, so I did my microneedling a week ago today, and most of my redness has calmed down. My skin texture is still, it's got a little work to do, but it's in the 80s, so welcome back to the wife beaters. And today I thought we'd do it a little bit differently. So they say that you can apply with a brush or with the pad that's in here. And I kind of like the shape of the pad because you can really turn it around and get the edges of your mouth and whatnot, but they say you could use it with something like a kabuki or a lighter brush. So I'm going to take this with a brush and see what happens. And load it up really well. Now, I really enjoyed the color. I thought it was a little too light, but quite neutral. But this is hardly any coverage. This is taking down the red. So I'm just kind of going over the reddest areas. If you don't have a lot of redness, I mean, maybe this is all you need. Just a little something. Evens out a little bit, does not get rid of all the redness, but if you have less red than me, maybe so. Looks nice on the skin. Certainly I didn't have any of the problems that I had with the other application. Let's go in with this. Once again, I am having a late start today. I just cannot go to bed early. It feels like more coverage, but the way I'm using this, the way I'm picking this up, this powder would not last very long. So with this and this on this side, and with only this on this side, and I think you can see there's more coverage here. But it's not perfect. And it doesn't look very good right here. I'm going to pull in to this area. And it's just not getting, you can't be so exact with this. So right above the eyebrow right there. And because this brush is light and this brush is light, maybe that's why I'm going in so heavy, because I can't tell how much I picked up. I just want to try with this. So that's how much I picked up. You judge, because what I'm seeing may be deceiving me. But I think this brush did a little bit of a better job. Maybe it would have been the same if I went in with the second coat with this. And I just want to go in with this right here where there's a little bit more darkness. This side of my face has more darkness than the other side. Now look at that. That is not a good look. But Jamie pulled when she did this. Yeah, the amount of dryness I'm seeing on my face is substantial. Right through here I'm seeing dryness. Let's go around the lips and the nose. The nose isn't really even, it seems to me. Going to go in with this again. This is how much I have on, because I don't think I got any here. And I'm just going to blend that bit that I got right here where the darkness is. It's obvious there's more coverage here than on here when I look in my mirror, so I'm just going to do some more of this. Boom. And I think you can see the finish I got today is not matte, but I do think this color is pretty decent. So I'm going to do my under eyes and we'll be right back and we'll do some cheek products. This is the limited edition Charlotte Tilbury. It goes on really well. It's so interesting. I don't, okay, something just happened. You know what I should have done, you guys? I should have done the Patrick Ta, because those colors are similar. But let's just do this on this side. because the Patrick Ta has both the cream and the powder in it, although I don't think they're exactly the same color. No problem at all. I'm not sure if there's a problem over here, but you know, my instinct is right now is this is so flippin' fussy. I would be well done with this if I was using a liquid. I'm going to go in again because around my nose when I get my glasses rub off, there's so much redness. It's not that it doesn't look pretty, it's just that it's a pain in the butt. For me, if you don't have redness or weird areas to cover and you're just looking to even everything up, then maybe this would be fast and easy. I'm not finding it to be very fast. I'm honestly wondering, what are the benefits of having a powder foundation? And I'm beginning to think if you're oily, it's really a benefit. If you're not oily, it's just a lot of time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of time to put something together. Let's go in with another cream product. This is the Tarte Seychelles, and I just saw Jamie Page is preparing for a bronzer video, and she is in love with this. She hadn't tried it before, and since it's so hot today, I think it's appropriate for me to do a little bronzing, look a little summery. I'm not a huge bronzer person, but we do want to see how this foundation will work with everything. There, I look so tanned. Now I think my foundation is beginning to look a little bit light now, but that's fine. And I'm just going to go over with a dry beauty blender for a final blend. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the base. I think it looks very, very pretty, but I do want to just name a couple of things you should keep in mind. I started with a very shiny face from my moisturizers and my sunscreen. The possibility of me getting matte with this is present because when I used it the first time with the pad that is included in here, I got matte. But with these other applications where I'm more doing spot stuff and adding in the areas where it's really red, I don't. Your mileage may vary. 2, it takes a long time. A long time? 2, it takes a long time to put the foundation on your face. It's just not put it in your hands, smear it all over, which is my preference. Or bounce it all over. It's just, you know, we didn't try how it works with the Beauty Blender, but I feel like I don't need to, oh, we could do right here. So, in other words, it takes a long time to do it. Now, if you're very, very oily and you're fine with that, then okay, but it's totally worth mentioning. You know what? I want to try this under my eyes because I didn't powder. Let's see. First I want to smooth it out. Yeah, I'm so dry, I hardly need anything. Pick it up. Well, at least the color is a little bit better now. It doesn't look so egregiously yellow. So what did I cover? I covered the finish. I covered how long it takes to put it on. This is not easy. I showed you how it looks when you put it on with this kind of brush, this kind of brush, this kind of brush, this, and the pad that comes with it. I'm beginning to feel a little itchy right now. Again, my skin is very, very dry right now. I'm trying. When I look into this mirror, just like the last time, I feel like it really looks pretty. But when I looked a little bit closer, upstairs with different light, blah, 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 I'm like, it's not so hot looking. And also I'm blind as a bat. You need to keep that in mind. So what I'm seeing here is something that somebody who's quite blind has seen, where I think, wow, it's actually pretty. It's actually pretty. And I don't know if it's just that I like the color so much or what. But we will come back in several hours, maybe 4 hours, we shall see, and take another look. The light will absolutely be different, and we'll see how it wore on my skin. Oh, and the third thing is, I use so much, I think, look, I wore this almost every day last year, and I still have a little bit left. I think if I put this on the way I've been putting it on in order to cover my redness and my discoloration, this would probably last me a couple of months, and I think that's something you should consider. All right, back in a little bit. And it's me again. Again, I shot it. It looked horrible because of the light situation. I have to figure that out. So I do have some notes of what I said. Again, the images, I just couldn't grab any images. With this lighter application, trying it with brushes, it was much, much nicer. Now, of course, I didn't have the same issues, but I have a feeling I probably would still have those issues if I had any flaky skin. I managed to eventually get a solid coverage on one side of my face. The other side of the face, where I kept on trying to build a little bit with different brushes, it was fine, but I liked the coverage on the other side better. So let's go over a couple of things that they are claiming. They are saying, and they're saying, you need your glasses. I almost told you what my name is. Someday I may. They're saying that it's non-cakey and it blurs pores. It is non-cakey, except for that little incident over here. Blurs pores. I would say it doesn't accentuate pores. I don't know that it's a pore eraser. They say that it's buildable, absolutely 100%, and it's buildable in a way where you can build just in one little area and it doesn't look like, oh, sweetheart, you didn't blend in your foundation well. Do you know what I mean? So you can build certain areas, and that's pretty good. They say that it doesn't settle into lines or wrinkles. I'd say absolutely, yeah, it didn't. It didn't settle into my 11s, into my forehead. Those are my major lines. Nothing ever really settles over here, even though when I smile, it's like, hi, who has more lines than me? They're getting better, I think, though. So yeah, I would say that is absolutely true. But my conclusions are, I can tell you now, I returned it. And I returned it because it's a pain in the ass. For me, I want to put something on my hand, boop, 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 blend it in, maybe go over with a beauty blender, maybe go over with a brush. But for this, I kept on having to dig in, and apply, and apply, and apply. I would say this is the most pain in the ass I have ever had with a foundation. And I really wonder, what is the purpose of a powder foundation? What is the benefit of a powder foundation? I know there's a lot of people who like it, but I don't understand why. And I can't help but think it's because it's good for oily skin. Now, Sephora changed their website and they no longer have that area that says who's it for, which I find helpful, even though most companies say it's for oily, it's for normal, it's for dry. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they say, yeah, it's for oily and normal. If you're dry, you're not going to like it. And that's a shame that they got rid of that section. But I would imagine you might like this better if you're oily. It says that it's great in humidity, and that's fantastic. So maybe if you're in a humid area, you might like it. But I feel that if you suffer from dehydration, you might not even have dry skin, you just might be dehydrated, you're not going to enjoy it. If you have flakiness, no. If you have overall dryness, you might be able to make that work. Just moisturize well. But most of all, if you don't mind taking a solid, I would say 5 minutes to put on your foundation, then go for it. For me, I don't want to spend that much time on it, so I did take it back. But I did really think that it was quite pretty. And the second application, when I went and looked at a larger magnified mirror than this, I didn't have the issues with, for instance, it's skipping over here. I just found that, yeah, it's just a pain in the ass to put it on. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I know this was a long one, and I'm sorry. I was thinking of editing it down to be shorter and narrate, kind of like how Angie does, where she just shows you putting it on and shows you what it looks like. But I wanted to show you how it responded with cream products because, you know, powder foundation, how's that going to work with cream? Because I do like my creams. And, you know, I just wanted to show you everything so you can get an idea of what you're looking at applying and putting on other things. And I'm talking too much. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe, be smart, and I'm wishing you good health.